We are so excited you are all here. So excited. I am Sam. We are going to play a little game. So we're going to get you all to stand up, please. Obviously, you don't have to. If you don't want to, we understand. If you have the condition of not wanting to, we also understand. So you can
Kind of.
And if you're at home watching online, you could also stand up. No one's going to watch you. So
We're watching you online. Where's
Yeah.
the camera for where it's online?
Those
Where do you
cameras
look?
are for us to watch them. Is that how it works?
Like we're watching them online?
Yeah, they're standing up at home. That's how it works,
I
right?
see you.
Anyway, so I'm going to go through the rules real quick. You're going to win by the most amount of people in your section left standing at the end of the game. So how it works is we're going to watch some fail videos. It's going to be called Make It or Break It. We've all seen those before where a skateboarder tries to do a trick and he, either fails and, he hurts himself and it's kind of funny, or he succeeds and it's still kind of cool and kind of funny.
Yeah.
If you guess incorrectly of the event being made or broken,
Break it.
Break it.
Make it or break it sounds better. Yeah.
Make it or break it.
Yeah.
So you're trying to guess if the person will land the trick or whatever's going to land and be safe, or if they'll fail. If you get it incorrect, you sit down. Does that make sense?
Does everyone get it? Not if you agree. We see you. We see you.
If you don't understand the rules, just feel free to sit down whenever you want. So we're going to go to our first video.
Hit it. Okay, there it goes. Okay, what do you guys think? Is he gonna make it, or is he gonna wipe out?
I think he's going to wipe out. That's just me, though.
I don't know, I'm scared. These videos stress me out.
Okay, if you get it incorrect, you got to sit down. All right, let's see what happens. Oh!
Wah wah.
Dang.
Oh, so many of you guys are sitting down!
So many people got it wrong. Oh my gosh! So many of you got it wrong.
That's okay. I'm sure you guys are good at other things.
Yeah, that's okay. There's a few people in your section still standing, so maybe you guys will still pull out a win. Let's get ready for the next video.
Okay. Aw. I hope he makes it.
I don't think he's gonna make that. I don't trust the 9 lives. It looks like he has none left.
I don't know. Yeah.
There's no way. Okay, I don't think he's gonna make it. Let's see what happens.
Aww.
Dang.
That's okay.
That's okay. That cat will live, I'm sure.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right, so there's a few of you still standing. Those of you at home, hopefully you're still standing.
Yeah.
If not, you can just go ahead.
Also, if you aren't still standing, don't be sad. You can still vote.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's get ready for the next video.
'Kay.
We got, I think, 3 left. Here we go. Dang, look at that guy go. He's like a squirrel.
Oh my god.
Okay, there's no way someone that committed is not going to make that. He's totally making that.
Okay, I'm just wondering what's gonna happen though when if he gets to the end. Is he just gonna fall? Is he gonna face plant?
Oh, just hits the deck?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I think he's going to land feet first and everything.
Oh.
Okay, I think he made that. That counts as a making it, for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. Yeah, that's impressive.
Wow, the 3 of you are still standing. I think you
Okay,
guys have
cool.
seen these videos before or not. I don't.
Yeah, are you cheating? Have you seen
Yeah,
all these before?
Ben's cheating. I think Ben is cheating. He's cheated once? Whoa, you're in a church and you're cheating.
That's okay. We'll let it slide.
All right, next video, please. Oh my gosh!
Whoa.
Look at that thing go. Okay, I think he's making it too.
Have you ever had that happen to you?
Sort of.
Kind of.
Well, with an elk, not a deer.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, cool.
Have you?
No.
Oh. It's time.
Okay, good stuff.
All right, let's see what happens.
All right. Okay.
So I think you made it. I think that counts as
It's a
making.
close miss.
Wow. What a
All these
swift-
videos stress me out.
Animals stress you out?
Huh? No, all these videos do.
Oh, me too. I'm starting to sweat.
I know.
Not because I'm nervous, but just because like the anxiety. Okay, all of you are still standing. There's
Nice.
few.
Did you
There's
say all of you?
well, the ones that didn't die in the first round.
There's like 4 people still standing.
Right.
Proud of you guys.
Well, yeah, proud of you, the ones who still got it right. There's 3, 1, 2, 1, and the 7 people at home. So
Nice,
online's
nice.
winning. Online is winning.
Oh, probably. Okay, there's what, 1 video left?
I think there's one left.
One.
I think.
Okay, let's see
let's
it.
Okay, that's pretty impressive.
Ooh.
I think he's gonna make it.
I don't know. It looks like there's like a bigger distance for like the last jump.
Ah, I see what you're
Yeah.
saying. Because it's not the same as the little squares, he's gonna miss.
I don't know.
Yeah, I just go back to that professionalism thing. He looks too pro to fail.
Definitely.
I think he's gonna make it.
That's a good motto. Too pro to fail.
I am too pro to fail.
Too pro to fail.
If you need some pump up, self-motivational thing, just tell yourself you're too pro to fail.
Perfect. You guys are all too pro to fail.
All right, let's see
Say
what
it
happens.
to yourselves.
Let's see if he fails. Oh.
Oh man, look at him go.
He's too pro
Okay.
to fail. All
Too
right.
pro to fail.
That's awesome. I think that's the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the last one.
That was the last one, right?
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, sweet.
Okay. I think the winning section was the people online. So, sorry guys, thanks for standing the whole time. You guys are great.
Woo!
All right, we're just gonna transition to a new video. Thanks again
Yeah.
for joining us. Enjoy the rest of the night.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Following a map you've never seen, stumbling out into the road alone. You're out on your own, nobody knows how you're in the wild, it's hard to see. I'm feeling my way, but the light is low. And God only knows, where do we go from here? Oh, into the fire, into the flames we'll go, out on the wire, into the deep below. I love you, I love you. I'm out of breath, gaining clarity, and hope begins to grow. Yeah, my love is true. Oh, my love is for you. Oh, into the fire, into the flames we'll go, out on a wire, into the deep below. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. How I love you, how I love you, how I love you. Oh, into the fire, into the flames we'll go, out on a wire, into the deep below. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. love me, but how could you when I ran so far? And still you want me when I lose sight of where you are. But it only took a moment with you, a glimpse of life with purpose, and I knew that living where the light is, oh Lord, is exactly where you want me, and I never wanna leave. So I'm gonna stay in your presence, sing of your love forever, dance like I did the day when I caught a glimpse of you. And I get a little bit desperate to run to the arms of heaven. All of my life surrendered, 'cause I caught a glimpse of you. I caught a glimpse of you. I caught a glimpse of you. I caught a glimpse of you, and you are for me through the moments when I lose my way. Surround me with your mercy and your endless grace. But it only took a moment with you, a glimpse of life with purpose, and I knew that living where the light is, oh Lord, is exactly where you want me, and I never wanna leave. So I'm gonna stay in your presence, sing of your love forever, dance like I did the day when I caught a glimpse of you. And I get a little bit desperate to run to the arms of heaven. All of my life surrendered, 'cause I caught a glimpse of you. I caught a glimpse of you. I caught a glimpse of you. And I caught a glimpse of you. I caught a glimpse of you. I wanna lift you high, forever this heart is yours. Why would I run and hide when mercy's covered all? I give my life to you, for all that you are is all I want, God. It's all I want. So I'm gonna stay in your presence, sing of your love forever, dance like I did the day when I caught a glimpse of you. And I get a little bit desperate to run to the arms of heaven. All of my life surrendered, 'cause I caught a glimpse of you. 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 I caught a glimpse of you, yeah. When all I know starts to fail me, and I can't feel you near, I'll wait for you, my God. I'll wait for you. When tears have blinded my vision, and you seem miles away, I'll wait for you, my God. I'll wait for you. And you come you meet me where I am. You give me strength to stand. Perfect love, it knows no end. Oh, you are faithful, God. When tears have blinded my vision, you seem miles away, I'll wait for you, my God. I'll wait for you. And you come, you meet me where I am. You give me strength to stand. Perfect love, it knows no end. Oh, you are faithful, God. And now I'm giving you control. All my life to make you known. Here's my heart, it's yours alone. Oh, you are faithful, God. Oh, you'll never leave me. No, you never leave me on my own. Oh, you'll never leave me. No, you'll never leave. Now I'm giving you control. All my life to make you known. Here's my heart, it's yours alone. Oh, you are faithful, God. Well, thanks again, guys, for being here tonight with us. I just want to welcome you. And also for all of you who are watching online right now, we're super glad that you guys are tuning in from home as well. But why don't you guys go ahead and take a seat here.
March again, it's another morning. Every day, like the one before. March again, and it's been a full year of waking up to say, I'm bored, indoors. I'm bored, indoors. There goes my neighbor with his dog like always. Was just a puppy, now full grown. Every single day on Zoom. When it's over, time to move to this next part of my couch.
Good evening, Jimmy.
Hi, Netflix.
We've got so many wonderful stories for you to watch. An alcoholic chess player, a sexy Gossip Girl period piece.
Yeah, maybe I'll just watch The Office for the 6th time.
Well, that's on Peacock. You do have Peacock, right, Jimmy?
Yeah. Just yesterday I barely heard of TikTok. Now I'm the CEO of Swag. But a bike to feel the burn, but it's too late to return. Maybe I'll just say it came without a tag. Hello, good day, how is your family? Hello, good day. Hey Jimmy, how's your wife? Please keep it down, my child's sleeping. There must be more than this pandemic life. Oh, wasn't it just March 2020? I've forgotten what time means, and I haven't waxed my chest since quarantine week 3.
52 weeks and 53 Zoom weddings, 600 laps around my den, plus a million shanty songs and a Quibi come and gone.
No, I can't believe it's been a year. It really has been quite a year. I can't believe it's really March again.
And I know that we're kind of tired of talking about COVID, but let's address the fact here. One, I was having a hard time coming to terms with this week, kind of looking at the calendar and being like, man, I remember 1 year ago, which feels like in some senses like decades ago, but in most ways feels like just a couple of weeks ago. We were at the point, this was the last normal week. We didn't even know it. We had no clue. And like so much has changed, and the obvious part is that you guys are standing in front of me or wearing masks, or you're at home right now, not Zooming in hopefully, but joining us online. A year ago, any of this would have seemed preposterous without a significant explanation. If I would have shown you 1 year ago and said in 12 months, this video is going to be like super relevant and make sense to everybody, what would that, we'd be like, what's going on? Things have shifted and changed so much in ways that I didn't even think of before. And this one's probably my favorite. My wife's friend, before COVID, went out and got and I found this out this week, a forearm tattoo that said, you know, in a very motivational sense, be brave enough not to wear a mask. That's an oops at this point. She wasn't expecting to make a political statement. The term anti-masker didn't mean anything before this year. If I would have said, what's an anti-masker? You're like, I have no clue. What are you talking about? There's tons of terminology. A year ago, we weren't all like amateur virologists. I know, actually, I prefer to get the mRNA vaccine. Well, I prefer the regular one from this company. It's like, where did we learn this from? You know, they started researching it in 1960, and it's only fairly experimental, but I wish I wasn't as smart as I had to be the last year. It's not even smart. I've just heard it repeated over and over and over again. My YouTube algorithm is just either people freaking out about one thing or like information telling me about how the world is falling apart, and it's just been time to set it down. It's been chaos, but I'll be honest with you, I've been pretty proud of how most of us have been able to make it through this. We have been able to fight through. We've stood up and we've done what we can do. Right? We've faced the adversity and we've done what we had to do, and we're here, and I'm proud of all of us for that. You know, nobody would have expected, you know, this socially distanced, mask-filled environment, but at least we're here. At least we found a way to make it through to now. And while this is not over, and who knows what the year ahead is going to be, well, I choose to believe it's hopeful, and I see light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm just going to choose to focus on that for now. I do know that anything could happen, right? But I want to talk about us. I want to talk about the project. Like they were mentioning just before I got up here, we're talking about how the project has like these core outcomes. They're doing our DNA series this month. Each week is going to be one of the core key outcomes we want to see for people that engage from the project, things that will be the product of what we do as a community, as a church, as the project. And let me just say this is a key thing. Whether you're on your computer at home or on your phone or wherever you are, you're listening online a week from now on the podcast, or you're here in person with us, you are the project. The project is not me on stage. I'm the lead pastor. I'll lead it, but the fact is that the staff isn't the project. I'm not the project. The band isn't the project. You are the project. We are the project. We are doing this together. As I always try to say, we carry the weight together. We have a purpose, and we do it as a team. I want to share with you what is really the rallying cry of what Jesus called his church to do. The main thing that he commanded us to do before he left the earth. And this is what has driven the church for 2,000 years and what drives us and is what we're talking about tonight. And it's found in Matthew 28, 18 to 20. And you can follow along on the bottom of the screen there as well. It says, then Jesus came and said, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you, and surely I am with you always to the very end of the age. That was the thing he told us to do. That's his rallying cry. That wasn't like a suggestion he's saying at that moment to his disciples, the people that had lived with him and had seen him die on the cross and seen him rise again, who had experienced his awesome life that he offers, the value of a Jesus-based life. And he says, now that you've seen all these things, now that you know the value, now that you know that I'm real and you know this to be true, you can't just sit on this information. You need to go out and you need to share this and make disciples, make Jesus followers of all nations through showing them the value that you've experienced. And that was the call to us. And from that moment on, it was just bumpy roads ever since. Right? It's a great rallying cry, and it sends you out, and they were excited, and they went out and did it, but it was never easy. It was very difficult. Immediately, all these different things happened. Well, this is still something that was motivating. They ran into roadblocks over and over and over and over again. Being motivated by that, but pushing through things. Like, the disciples were basically, here's a little bit of church history. I'm not going to give you like a Bachelor of Arts level class on this, but here's a summary, and you can research this on your own as well. Just Google it. It should be in there. Because no one's ever found fake information on the internet, right? But you can message me, email me, I'll get you some good sources if you can't find anything. But those disciples went out and they were basically hunted down. The same people that tried to take Jesus, or that killed Jesus and murdered him on the cross, they wanted to snuff out the movement of Jesus afterwards through his disciples. At that time, it wasn't called Christianity, or what we like to coin it, a Jesus-based life. It was actually called The Way, not like the Mandalorian, although that would be pretty cool, but also weird if we just walked around and said, this is the way. It'd be really culty, actually. Let's not start that. But it was called The Way historically, the way of Jesus. The Christians started spreading the news and getting more people on their team and showing the value of this Jesus-based life. And as that happened, the Roman Empire and the religious leaders who put Jesus to death, they tried to hunt down these early Christians and have them killed. And they actually did. There's stories of them hunting them down, stoning them to death. And one of the guys that actually did that was named Paul. And Paul was one of the people that it says that he stood over the murder. He's a Pharisee, and he stood over the murder of a Christian named Stephen, and he gave his his approval to it. And then for some reason, all the people that murdered him laid their coats at his feet, and it's this weird thing. And he was a bad dude, and he wanted to snuff out and kill all the Christian movement. And then he has an encounter with Jesus when he's on his way to actually hunt some more Christians. And Paul experiences the value of a Jesus-based life through a supernatural interaction with Jesus and starts to actually grow the church and becomes one of the greatest catalysts. He wrote over half of the second half of the Bible called the New Testament. It's letters. He grew the church. We are in a lot of ways still in this room because of the work of Paul. He was actually murdered as well. Went good for him. Every disciple actually ended up being murdered at some point, tortured, crucified upside down, an array of different things, persecuted like you wouldn't believe. It wasn't easy. And then actually after we get out of the Bible, or as it's known as biblical canon, so the end of the Bible, but then into just modern church history, and we see in the Roman Emperor, the early Roman Emperor, they would actually hunt down Christians, and if you got caught, they would feed you to lions, right? That's not like a thing that you just see in movies. They'd put you in the Colosseum, and everyone would cheer as you get ripped apart by a giant cat. Sounds like a real great religious experience to me, right? Terrible. Then we have a guy named Constantine. He's the new Roman emperor, and he actually supposedly has an encounter with God, with Jesus, and adopts Christianity as the religion of the Roman Empire, which is kind of where the Roman Catholic Church would come from, right? There's your history on that. And it becomes actually to a point of predominance and power, but that actually created problems too, because with power comes corruption. And it wasn't that the religion or the movement of Jesus actually got corrupted, but they saw the way that religion, and we've seen this in modern and in old history, where people can use good things and good movements and the influence and the control that could come through manipulation to try and corrupt and use it for their own good. And that happened a lot throughout history, and we can find that recently as well. And that's where a lot of things that you might read about. If you're sitting at home or you're here and you've kind of had a cynical perspective, you haven't looked into this deeply, and church is just something that manipulates and breaks people, and you hear about the Crusades and the startings of war and all these different things. Let me say this. Those were all horrible. Those were all wrong. There's relatively recent things. You talk about the residential school program, horrific problems that were done in the name of Jesus. Horrible. And if I had any control of that, if I have any right to apologize for that, I do. But what we need to remember is this. Any action that exists outside of what God called and outside of what Jesus called and is outside of the person and character and heart that Jesus carried, is outside of his person, who he is and what he calls us to, is not true religion. That is not what we're called to. It never was. And unfortunately, there are people that will use the movement to try and push their own agendas, politically, personally, whatever that is. But it doesn't mean that the movement isn't true. It doesn't mean that there isn't incredible good that comes from when we follow Jesus as he asked us to. And then we continue to see even more trouble after this. There was all this control, and historically, there was these guys called the Reformers, like Martin Luther and John Calvin, and they were like, hey, we shouldn't just let people that can speak Latin read the Bible because they're only people that could interpret it. There's like if people can't read their own Bible, then people corrupt could just tell them whatever they want and manipulate people. And there's all these different things and reformations they tried to make, and they were basically like scolded and really were treated poorly because of it, and eventually got to the point where all these people in what is called the Protestant movement had to largely flee. There was actually war between different groups, and most of this, again, is not religious but political in the name of religion. They had to flee to North America, and then it's just been chaos, and through there we've had world wars. We've made it through depressions. We've made it through Second World War and other pandemics, and here we stand in COVID-19, where we're in this time where we're kind of together, but we're kind of not. We're online, but we're in person, but we're separated. If you're married, you actually are still 2 seats apart. At least you should be. See you guys reaching over, holding hands. It's kind of cute, but it's kind of awkward at the same time. And this is the thing. It's been through everything. It's been through political chaos. It's been through biological chaos. It's been through natural disasters. Christianity, the movement of Jesus for 2,000 years, has been through corruption and every possible issue that could happen. But we're still here. The true nature of Jesus and a Jesus-based life is still moving forward. And that's what I want to talk to you about tonight, because nothing can get in the way of what Jesus has called us to. The church for 2,000 years, or the project, which, big shocker, we are a church, which is called the project. We've had to pivot through COVID. We've had to move. We've had to pivot around and try different things. We've gone online. I was watching one of our old videos talking about the first half of COVID. There's 2 COVIDs in my mind. There's the first COVID, which is scary COVID, and then there's this second COVID in the last couple months, which I call angry COVID. We're just kind of like in these different mindsets, right? But in the first COVID, in the first lockdown, we moved immediately, had no plan. Like a year ago now, we had no plan that in a week from then we would be totally online. And we're like, okay, we're gonna do this. So we did, Zoom stuff. We did suddenly online out of nowhere, trying to learn what works, what people will engage with, what they don't. People would, through the summer, started coming back, and we saw the numbers start to grow, but then the numbers also started to grow in the community. So we've been on our second lockdown. We've tried Zoom meetings, we've tried small groups, we're doing text message only small groups. We continue to shift, and we continue to try and do whatever it takes to reach Edmonton. And that's what our key outcome for today is: to increase the amount of young adults in Edmonton and area who know Jesus, who believe in Jesus. This is the fundamental thing. And other weeks we're going to talk about other things that are equally and often very important. But this, to me, is one of the things that gets me out of bed in the morning. This is what Jesus called us to when we see that in that verse I showed you in Matthew, where he says, go and spread the word. Show the value that exists. Show what you've experienced. And that's kind of the way I feel about it. I think man, why do we not share the good news of Jesus? And why do we not share the value that we've experienced in a Jesus-based life? And it's just because it kind of becomes mundane. It becomes something that we are just casually experiencing. But the fact is this: when we experience something that we find valuable, we share it with other people, right? Think about, especially pre-pandemic, but when you find a new restaurant, or when you find a new coffee shop, I saw it this week. Everybody went back to the gym or the library. I guess those exist somewhere, somehow. I guess people still go to those. I haven't been to one forever. And they went to the gym, and I could see like all across my timeline on my stories on Instagram, just back at the gym. So good to be back at the gym. So good to be back. Can't believe I'm back. It's so good. People were exciting. They're excited about it. They wanted to share with everybody, like, I'm back, I value this, this is good. Or when you go to that new restaurant, like, go check out this new coffee shop, look at my latte art, oh, I love this place, it's so cute, it's so nice, the food is amazing, it's a burger that's like 8 patties, and if you eat the whole thing, you get it for free. Like that, we're like, we should share that with everybody because I want everybody to know this thing that I found value in. So why don't we do that with Jesus? Because I know for a lot of us here, and maybe you're here today and you're like, I haven't experienced this yet. I'm just kind of exploring Jesus. I'm just here to check it out, or I'm not quite ready to commit. That's cool. We're thankful that you're here. You're welcome here no matter where you stand in your belief in a Jesus-based life or in your worldview, or everyone, any person is welcome here. But maybe if you have been a part of the project for a long time, you followed Jesus for a long time, and it's just like, why do we not feel comfortable? Maybe it's because we're nervous we're going to be judged. Maybe it's because you're worried about, those skeptics, the people that might think that you're just not intelligent, or that there's these misconceptions that are going to be nailed to you as who you are. Or is it because we just get into this regular sense of this is reality, I go to church, I am a good person? Is it that we haven't felt motivated for a long time? Is it that we've lost the passion, we've lost the excitement, we've forgotten the call that Jesus calls us to share this with everybody because we should love our friends and family and the world around us so much that we can't help but share this with them? And this is the other thing. Like sometimes when people talk about sharing Jesus, they think again about like stuff that's happened in the past, or going to other cultures and just like condemning them and destroying them and leaving a wake of destruction overseas or locally or whatever, or going around and judging people and telling them the way you live is garbage, and you're I don't know if people would ever go and say that, but it wouldn't shock me, and say like just to demean people and say like, we know the way, we're smarter than you, we're better than you, you should live like us. Yes, there is a truth that I believe to be true, and Jesus is the way to happiness, to truth, and to eternal life. And he's the only way there. Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. No one comes to God except through Jesus. He makes that claim, and we can't make any apologies for that. But the fact is this, what way we do it at the project here, I believe while we share the truth, even when it hurts, we approach it by sharing the value of a Jesus-based life. If you bring a friend here who's not a Christian, I'm not going to get in their face up here and start telling them that they're the worst human being ever. Oh, you should follow what we believe because we have this supra attitude. We're better than you. When we communicate up here, we want people to have all the good information they can, to have everything they need to make a decision based on good judgment for themselves, that they have the opportunity to experience Jesus. They have the opportunity to make the decision for themselves. And I believe that when we show the value of a Jesus-based life, when we show them the hope they can have, that they will be able to make that decision for themselves. And I think more times than not, they'll land on that Jesus is good, and Jesus is truth, and Jesus is just. And this life, this community, the project is something that I want to be a part of. Undoubtedly in my mind. That's why this is the rallying cry for us. Church through 2,000 years has done some incredible things. Well, it gets pegged for a lot of bad things it's done. If you look at historically, hospitals were started by churches, universities, which is interesting that there's such an academic pushback at times against the church. Actually, academia was largely started by the movement of the church. They've been a part of major charities. We're talking about several local charities. They're all based out of Jesus' belief, out of connection to churches that are trying to work with at-risk youth, working with abused women from abusive situations and their families. Like, there's a lot of good things that come out of that. When we move forward, when we try to act out as true Jesus followers, we will change the world around us. And we're going to talk more about that next week. But we will see through the fruit, through the good things that we do, the product that comes out of that is people will catch on to the vision, catch on to the value, and want to be a part of this. If all we do here in this space is come and sit every Sunday night and we have a great time and we all agree that we enjoy the songs, we all agree on the things that are spoken on stage, and it's good, yeah, that was great, let's go to Earl's, hopefully soon someday, right? And let's hang out, that's good. The music was good, the atmosphere was fine, I feel good, I feel better about myself. If that's all we ever did, we would be failing. Because the call isn't to just exist. The call that God puts on us, that Jesus called us to, is not to just exist and to have fun. Those are all good things. Community is a good thing. Learning more about God is a good thing. Those are part of the experience. But if we forget to grow and to reach out into our community and share that good news, then we have failed the call of Jesus. We can't just sit back and hope. Prayer is good, but we need to move. We have to act. We have to. In Matthew 5:15-16, Jesus says this, "Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." We are light in darkness. Look at the world around us. And I don't want to be that guy, like I've seen some old preachers like, the world is a terrible place. Don't go there. Okay, how am I going to do that? Stay out of the world. Bro, I live in the world. Where am I going to get my groceries? We've been staying out of the world for the last year and it's been awful. Like, I'm depressed. Let's get back into the world. But it's not about fear of what's around us, but it is the reality that the world around us is broken in so many ways. Even people that don't believe in Jesus would be like, something is wrong. Right? Something is wrong. There's chaos everywhere, political unrest. Let's not even talk about COVID. Let's look at the leadership issues in our country, in our world. Like, just there's poverty everywhere. There's social injustice. There's racism. There's different issues that it doesn't take, like, we're all aware of what's happening. And while I don't personally have the solution to everything, I know that a world is asking around us, and your friends and young adults in Edmonton and everywhere else are asking, what is the point? How do we bring a solution to this? And while I don't have a fix-all right now that I can explain to you, and here's step A, B, and C, Jesus is answering that question with, I have the solution, and I'm going to bring it about through my church. Through the other churches in our area, to the other churches that are good that we partner with, to every church that would say that Jesus is God and that would be on the same page theologically like that would follow this mission. He wants to do it through us, but for the project, he wants us to be the solution. I can't fix every solution right now, but we can change the community around us. We can change our friends' lives. We can change our families' lives. We should be able to do this thing. Number one, like we said, increase the amount of young adults that know Jesus in our city. But beyond that, our city should notice us. Not because we protest things necessarily, not because of the things that we're against, but the things we're for. That's why one of the things that our church here, Hope City, talks about is being for Edmonton. We sometimes call it live local here at the project. We want our city, our community. If we disappeared, if the project was done tomorrow, would our city miss us? That's the measuring stick that we're looking at. And I'm not just saying would they miss our live stream, would they miss, the Sunday night experience? Would they miss what we bring to the table? Would they miss the good we do in the community? Would it be a noticeable decrease of impact of positivity in our society? I believe it would be, but we need it to be even more, because that's what Jesus calls us to do. We can't just hide our light. It's kind of an interesting thing. He says, take the lamp and put a bowl over top of it. It seems preposterous. No, we need to shine our light. We need to be the people that illuminate dark places, that bring peace to chaos, that act as Jesus' hands and feet metaphorically to actually do the work, to follow the example that he puts in the Bible. If you haven't read the Bible before, number one, you can go on your phone, YouVersion, just put Bible in any app store, you'll find it. That's how I do most of my Bible reading. But if you would like a physical Bible, if you're online right now, or whether you're here in person, you don't have one, you want a paper Bible, go analog, that's all right, we'll get you one. Come talk to us tonight. Get to the info booth at the back there, we will get you a Bible. But the fact is this: we can change the world. That's what it comes down to. And I know that you're probably tired of people telling you that and there's no tangible plan. By being Jesus, we can change the world. We can change the world around us. I don't think I can change the political situation in AMR other than praying, and that's a good step. But functionally today, I can't do that. I don't think that we have the capacity right now. Should be engaged in those things, but what can we do in Edmonton? What can we do to make the world better around us? What organizations can we engage in? What volunteer work can you do? We're going to be having opportunities, especially once COVID lifts a little bit, to engage further with some of these organizations. Next week, we're going to be having some of the different local organizations that we talk about and support financially come up and share with us. We're going to give them chances for teams to go out every couple of months or every couple of weeks, getting our small groups engaged as well with some of these things. We need to be active, and we need to be able to show the value in order for people to get on board. That's what we do. And that's why we do it, is because Jesus called us to. I know Jesus changed my life. Here's the thing that we always say here at The Project, is that following Jesus is the best decision you can ever make in your life. And I say that with confidence because it is for me. I came here as a 12-year-old kid who was bullied and who didn't have any friends really, and most of my friends that I did have were like really going off track. And I found community here. I found hope in Jesus, and because of that, I went from a timid kid who got bullied to somehow being on this stage in this church, which is kind of like totally crazy to me. But it was the community, it was the value, it was the purpose of my life that came from a Jesus-based life that got me engaged, and that's what we can give to other people. But I want to say this, and this is really important. We will only be able to do that if we care about other people first. We exist here for people that are not here yet. And and it's easy to rally around. You're like, yeah, let's do it, Jeff. Like, let's get people to understand. Yeah, it's like all these things I'm saying are all good, and this part's fairly easy. But there's something that traditionally in human existence gets in the way of mission, and of purpose, and that's preference. We're consumers by nature, right? We're just people that come in and we want to know what's best for me. We want to know how something can contribute to my life better. And that's just kind of how we are as human beings, but it sometimes unfortunately trends into our church experience, into the project potentially. And I'm not saying it is for anybody in particular, or if it is an issue here, but I'm saying this is something that across the board in churches, and this is something that stalls movements, is when we start to care so much about our preference that we don't do what we need to do, and we lose focus on the vision. That we'll never reach our vision if we don't find a balance between preference and purpose. Let me tell you a quick story about how the project started. About 18 or so years ago, almost 2 decades ago, there was no night project service here on Sunday. It was 18 years or so. And there was a group of people at Hope City Church, it's called Millwoods Assembly back then, and they were largely like an older congregation at that time. There was a lot of older people there, at least a lot older than us. And you have to understand, they were from like a German branch of church, and there was a lot of Germans, and one thing that group really valued was their night church. These people loved church. Sunday school in the morning, church in the morning, go home, have a nap after you go to Swiss Chalet, come back for more church at night. I don't know how they did it. Wouldn't be my idea of a great Sunday all day with church, but they valued that. They loved it. Sunday night was prime time. They saw all their friends. It was part of the culture they grew up in. It was their preference. They loved it so much. But they saw a need in Edmonton. They knew there was a university here, that there needed to be something to speak to the thinking, thoughtful, educated, not just those people, but just anybody who's a young adult. They knew that there was a generation that needed to be reached in a specific way. And they decided that they would end their Sunday night church service so the project could start. They allowed for finances to be poured in to hire a staff. And a group of, I think it was like 30 or 40 people eventually grew into what we have here today. A movement that for 20 years almost now has been reaching thousands of young adults, bringing value and hope to thousands of young adults, connected a lot of them into Jesus-based life, community. All these things happened because these older people gave their finances and gave something that they loved. Their preference would have obviously been to enjoy that night service. Their preference would have been to really just do this thing over and over again and enjoy it and have a lot of fun. That was their fun. But because they knew that we needed this, that there was a group, they were thinking of you. They were thinking of all of us here. And they were thinking about the people that aren't in this room yet right now. And they were willing to put their preference aside to reach who they needed to. So how can we have that same impact? If we're willing to say, you know what, it doesn't matter. I'd prefer this type of music. I'd prefer this type of speaking. I don't really like Jeff. Amanda's, a better speaker. I'd rather have her up here. It's not about what we can consume. You can have preferences, but we can't let preferences drive what we do. Because it's not about what this place can do for us. It's about how we can mobilize as a movement. It's how we can engage in our church, in the project. It's how we can not just, find a small group that fits our lifestyle, but how can we start a small group that will reach the most people and bring the most value? How can we engage in our city in ways that we haven't thought of before? How do we take initiative to talk to our friends, to talk to our family about a Jesus-based life and not like bring it up at the Thanksgiving table and ruin Thanksgiving, but have intentional, loving conversations with them? It comes down not just to what we do as a leadership team, but it comes down to what you will engage in and what purpose you will find. Because here's what it comes down to, is that there are people out there who need the project. There's a lot of people that are lost and depressed and lonely, and I know that Jesus can solve their problems, and I know that the project has the capability that if we catalyze and move in the right direction, we can do this as a community. If we carry the weight together, we can change the world around us. We can increase the number here. Our vision is to see 1% of Edmonton's young adults. The vision here is to see 1% of Edmonton's young adults call the project home. And I believe we can do that, not just so we can be cocky and say that we have this big church or all these numbers or whatever, but everything we do drives that. And I hope that everything that you do drives that you want people you love to have the same relationship that you found valuable with Jesus. We do this because we know the value. We've seen it. We've not just seen it, I've seen it in my own life, but man, we've seen it in countless people who have encountered the project, and it's changed their lives. We captured a couple of those that we want to share with you.
Hi, my name is Natalie, and I started coming to the project about 5 years ago when I kind of hit my lowest point and I thought I can't keep wasting my life drinking and partying every weekend. So I came to the project, and it was kind of tough at first because there's just so many people, and I found it hard to meet people, and it was frustrating. But I finally decided to join a small group, and that's when it kind of changed my life. I started meeting community and like-minded people, and there was things to do on the weekend that didn't involve going to the bar, and it was nice. And over the next 8 months, God just really worked on my heart, worked in my life, and just kind of mended some of those wounds. And it's been an amazing journey, and now I'm on the other side of it, where I'm able to lead small groups and walk through other people's journeys as they're healing and working through their stories. I just feel like the project is such an amazing space where young adults can come together, challenge each other, just come as they are and meet community and like-minded people. And so that's kind of been my journey.
Hi, my name is Raymond, and it was in the middle of 2020 that I started going to the project. And thanks to that very enthusiastic Uber driver I met, who patiently reminded me to give it a try to attend the Sunday service at Hope City. For the first few weeks of being in the project, it was so awful to not know anybody. But then, when I got to plug in with the young adults through the small groups, I knew it was the best decision I've ever made. Throughout my life, I've been through a lot. When I was 4, my dad passed away because of liver cancer, while my mom is in Europe working to provide for us. So my 4 siblings and I were scattered to our relatives just to have someone to take care of us. And that brought me to living a life with so much insecurities, social anxiety, and low self-esteem. Fast forward to when I moved here in Canada from the Philippines just by myself to work. I remember I was really struggling to cope with the culture and the weather. But then later on, a few years after, when I became part of the community at the project, they made me realize that all my life, with all the pain that I've been through, I've been kind of like doing a bicycle kick in an ocean, where just to keep my head up above the water, not knowing that God's hand was just there trying to reach down. All I have to do is to grab His hand for me to be lifted up. Coming to the project, my life started to change, and my relationship to God has drastically increased. Coming to the project has given me a better perspective of who God is, and seeing God working in each and every one of us gives me a better perspective of His personality and love to His people. Coming to the project taught me to take God out of the church and just put Him in different aspects of my life, such as my relationship to my family, my friends, and also in my workplace. And it really taught me to have more purpose and more passion in the path that I'm taking on. The project is not like a gathering of perfect people. It's actually a gathering of broken people who are praying for each other, who are encouraging each other to continue fighting the good fight, especially in this time of uncertainty.
Hi, my name is Cassia. The project was the first place where I felt free to explore my faith outside of my Christian upbringing. It was also the first place where I realized that humor and God were allowed to coexist under the same roof. Walking into the project that first day 6 years ago, I was amazed that so many young adults were engaging and worshiping God how I always wanted to. I'm an introvert, but I dove into the deep end and found friends that inspired me to ask big questions, but also wrestle with the little ones too. I always saw my brokenness as some massive character flaw, but people here showed me that they're stronger now because of how God has worked through their brokenness and not around it. I've never felt expected to be perfect here, which is so freeing. This place has given me permission to be confused, in awe, doubt, laugh, worship, disagree, and trust, and all in one day if I need to. This place, these people, it feels like coming home.
I'm seeing now with new eyes for the first time, for the first time. Deliverance is calling, and it sounds like singing for the first time. Oh, sweet redemption, the heart of heaven, it's setting all things right. It's setting all things right. Oh, sweet redemption, the sound of heaven, it whispers to the night. Step into the light. Step into the light. The darkness can't survive the fire in his eyes. So step into the light. Step into the light. You were never meant to hide. You were made to be alive. So step into the light. My shame, it won't enslave me, 'cause it doesn't own me. For the first time, I finally found my healing, and it feels like breathing. For the first time, oh sweet redemption, the heart of heaven, it's setting all things right. It's setting all things right. Oh, sweet redemption, the sound of heaven, it whispers to the night. Step into the light. Step into the light. The darkness can't survive the fire in his eyes. So step into the light. Step into the light. You were never meant to hide. You were made to be alive. So step into the light. Out of the shadows, it's time to let go. Let freedom take hold. Come alive. Come taste the morning, the Father's calling. Don't waste a minute, come alive. Out of the shadows, it's time to let go. Let freedom take hold. Come alive. Come taste the morning. The Father's calling. Don't waste a minute. Step into the light. Step into the light. The darkness can't survive the fire in his eyes. So step into the light. Step into the light. You were never meant to hide. You were made to be alive. So be alive.
So maybe it's your first time here. We always want to give the opportunity, every time that we're on this stage, we give the opportunity for you to begin that journey with Jesus. You haven't fully comprehended it. Maybe you just need to send an email to us, or you want to ask some questions. We're going to put a QR code up on the screen, or if you're at home on your screen, just take out your phone app on whatever your smartphone is, and it will connect you to there. And we'd love to hear more from you. If you want to start that relationship with Jesus, start a Jesus-based life tonight, all it takes is a quick prayer and telling Jesus, I know you died for me. Jesus, I know that you are God, and I accept that. And I want to turn away from the way I've lived, the mistakes and the sins that I've lived before. And we don't want to skirt over that. There's a lot of theology to that. But if that's you tonight and you're ready to take that step, just tell that to God. It's very simple. But it starts a valuable, difficult, and worthwhile journey with Jesus. But again, if you, I know we can't hang out after, but if you are making that decision or ready to, come find me after, find one of the pastors. We want to talk to you about that. Hit the QR code. We exist for those that are not here yet. So this week, how can you be the hands and feet of Jesus? How can you be the church? How can you be the project? How can you be a part of what we're doing here? Not just the service, but how can we serve our community? How can you love your community? How can you show Jesus? Maybe it's not a theological argument, it probably isn't, but maybe it's as simple as this. Hey, you want to come to the project with me on Sunday? So who's that person? Who's the person you need to invite? Who's that person who there are empty seats here still? And like I said, if we have too many seats for COVID protocol, to do it safely, we'll do 2-3 services if we have to. Maybe it's as simple as for you online, you just got a friend who you know is struggling right now, and they need to know about what we're doing. They need to not just know about the project, but what Jesus is doing in their community and can do in their lives. Who do you need to send the link to? Who do you need to have a Zoom chat with? I don't know what it is, but here's the fact. It said Jesus told us to go and make disciples of all nations. Go is an action word. If we don't move after this, we just had a great moment, but if we don't move, nothing comes of it. So what will you do? What will you go and do? Who will you go and talk to? Who will you go and invite? As we continue to see the amount of young adults in Edmonton increase who know Jesus. This is why we're here. Let me pray for you before we close up with a few extra announcements here. So God, thank you for the project. Thank you for everybody at home. Thank you for everyone here in person, God. We're thankful that you choose us to be a part of what you're doing in Edmonton and in the world. And even though historically and even now we're imperfect, we make mistakes, we're thankful that you still choose to act out your perfect plan through imperfect people. I pray that this community, that the project, that we as the project would go from this place and that we would find ways to be like you, Jesus, and show the value and love that you bring to the table, that you bring to people's lives, and that you can bring to our community and family and friends. God, I pray that we would go and we would invite a friend this week. We would see more people here next week so that they can know the value of a Jesus-based life. Thank you for every person here. Keep us safe, God. We pray for our community and our country and our world through COVID. We pray for peace and for healing and for COVID to go away. And God, we just pray that your will would be done. We choose hope today, and we can't wait to see what you're going to do in Edmonton through us. In Jesus' name, amen.